So let's do it. Let's go back in time and let's analyze the last 20 years. Because that's right, it's actually been 20 years since Henry Cavill's journey as Superman actually began. Because 20 years ago in 2004 was kind of where the Superman disrespect for Henry began. Because he was cast as Superman in Mick G's Superman Flyby movie that it was written by J.J. Abrams. And you could find pictures from his screen tests out there in the world. He had, and Brandon Routh had read for it as well, and a few other familiar faces. But Henry snagged the role, and for a brief window of time where that was the Superman reboot we were going to be getting, Henry was Superman. And then that went away. Warner Brothers decided rather than move forward with Mick G's reboot, they were going to move forward with Bryan Singer's pseudo-sequel, Superman Returns. And Bryan Singer looked at Henry Cavill, and I think he let him audition, but ultimately he went the Brandon Routh role. So right then, Henry was given the part and then lost the part before he could even do anything with it. So that was already step one in, gee, thanks. And the funny thing is, it became a kind of a bit of a running thing in his career, where now for the next several years after 2004, Henry was the guy who was almost people. Because while he was almost Superman, he also was a finalist for James Bond before Daniel Craig got James Bond, leading into the reboot of that franchise, Casino Royale. So he was a finalist for Superman, had been cast as Superman and lost it. He was a finalist for James Bond and lost it. And then there's other famous stories too, where there had been a fan campaign to try to get him to be Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter's Goblet of Fire. Then there was also a movement to try to get him to be Edward Cullen in the Twilight movies, a part that ultimately went to Robert Pattinson, Batman himself. And basically for years, Henry was this actor who would be in contention for lots of different iconic roles, but for whatever reason, just couldn't lock it down, couldn't actually get the part, And that all changed, thankfully, in 2011, when he was cast again as Superman, and this time it stuck. And it's pretty cool, too, because as part of the audition that he had with Zack Snyder, they got the Christopher Reeve costume out of the archives. And Henry wore it for the auditions. And rumors, not even rumors, Zack Snyder has said that the dignity with which he wore that suit and the way he was able to wear it without looking silly or hokey, that's what got him the part more than anything. He was able to wear this practically sort of pseudo goofy primary color looking old fashioned superhero suit. And he wore it with pride and dignity and looked like Superman along the way. So he got the part, and it was announced on January 30th, 2011.